is now coming up, having a place to bath, I mean, for the ship. There's a cold room. And then this 30% of the fish when it's landed, of course, you know the Lipo effect in terms of what happens to Mama Karangas and the rest in Mombasa and the coastal region. We also, through again the political goodwill, there will be the port of Lamu, the port of Shimoni, which will also be having a fisheries hub. Again, we have been able to convince, and the politicians have also seen the need of also involving our own Kenyans. And again, that's what I'm saying from the front of the presidency, we were able to get funds to train young Kenyans so that the crew members who will board our ships or any ship which is flagged in Kenya or licensed in Kenya are Kenyans, are young Kenyans from coast, are Kenyans from interior of this country. Again, we need to do systematic way of trying to convince our politicians. Because as my colleague said, at the end of the day, blue economy is very expensive. It's about budget. Researchers, we don't have the budget. The budget comes from the policymakers, comes from our MPs, comes from the government. But again, as he said, climate is teaching us that if we don't act now, because science is showing us there is danger if we don't act now. The politicians are starting to realize, yes, we cannot keep on closing our eyes. Our economy is in danger, and what science is telling us is true, and they have started realizing, yes, we need to listen to scientists, we need to help them so that we can help ourselves. And we are seeing a lot of impetus from this level, starting with our ministers, starting with our PSs. When you talk about things to do blue economy, we are not getting all the money, but we are getting a lot of support, which we do not have gotten probably a couple of years ago. And I think this is very positive in terms of development of the blue economy in this country. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Prof. And we take another short break on this live broadcast, and when we come back, we'll have a few more points to raise here, as well as pick some questions from our audience here who may be having some concerns or questions or clarifications or just points to raise when we come back on this live broadcast, coming to you live from the county of Mombasa. Stay with us. And welcome back to this great conversation on the blue economy. Once again, coming to you live from the county of Mombasa, just at the edge of the Indian Ocean. Quite beautiful, and as you can imagine, Mombasa is ordinarily hot, but by virtue of being at this position, it's quite cool at least, so I can bear the heat in my tie. And just some of the things we've been discussing about harnessing the blue economy include what value it has to the country's economy, what lie in this economy, and a lot more. We also look at what have been the steps made since the 2018 forum, which was held in Kenya, which was a landmark and a significant one for the country, which the gentlemen on my panel have ably responded to. And aside from that, we also have looked at what it means for the region in terms of where Kenya sits in regards to the blue economy's performance compared to its neighbors in the region. And the gentlemen who are on the ground, or should I say on the water in this, are actually saying that Kenya is in a leading position, which is a good thing. And the Director General here has reiterated that a lot of it has come because of the political goodwill that has come with the President himself being very keen on this, and this has been reiterated across the panel. And so before I pick a few questions and or comments from our audience here, I just want to bring in Prof, to start with you. What are some of the things that you're doing to empower the local communities? You've mentioned about this, for instance, the jobs that have come up, which are some of the direct. What other activities are there that are being done? Because you can't employ the whole community, but there are many other things that you can do. What else is being done?
Thank you. Once again, there's the training we are doing in terms of, as I said again, from the presidency, in terms of enabling the youth along the coast. The 5,000 we have to train in the next 5 years. We are training almost now, we are 300. That is number one. I think the other issue, which I alluded to earlier on, is in terms of enabling the community themselves, be self-reliant. And you have worked very closely with the communities. I'll pick one community somewhere in Kilifi. We call it Dabaso. Through again a project like what we used to call KCDP, that was Kenya Coast Development Project. Again, through the government initiative, we are able to train communities, one, how to farm fish, how to use cages to farm fish, ecotourism. So this team in Dabaso, what they are doing, they are young men who have come together through the assistance of Kenya Marine, the assistance of government entities here and there. They are able to conserve the mangroves where they are. They have got sort of a restaurant inside the mangroves. So you walk through the mangroves, there's a walkway. So one, there's ecotourism. Two, there's conservation. And three, there's a restaurant. So, and they are able to earn their living that way. So it's not fishing. Is maintaining the environment. And you see, when you maintain the environments like the mangroves, you'll be told that it has almost triple advantages by maintaining mangroves. One, we have the biodiversity in terms of saving, sustaining the biodiversity of fish and other organisms. Two, the communities are benefiting. And if you go to like a place like Gazi, when you talked about climate change, the mangroves are very key, because mangroves normally absorb 5 to 10 times the amount of carbon compared to the terrestrial trees. So we are enabling the community. And I said yesterday, we were somewhere in semi-arid area of Kilifi, a place known as Bamba, whereby there were no roads until, again, you remember the song Bamba ni Machero, for those who remember that song. And I think His Excellency the President also sang after he commissioned the loan to Mbamba, opening up to that place. And now the community there, through our initiative and other stakeholders, they are able to farm fish and be able to sustain themselves in terms of the knowledge you have given them. So there are very many aspects of blue economy, which Kenya Marine as an institution, of course partnering with other government bodies, we have been able to impact on the local community so that they can be able to self-sustain themselves. And it's not only on the coast. The government, through other interventions, like at the coast, there is now what we call the Kenya Marine Fisheries and Socio-Economic project. It's a project of about 10 billion Kenya shillings, and it's mostly focused on the fisheries aspect. Again, government. And then also in the inland, blue economy is not only in the other coast. When you talk about blue spaces, we are talking about all the waters from the coast and to the inland. There's also another project which is very key in 15 counties of Kenya. We call it Aquaculture Business Business Development Project. Is about 13 or so billion Kenya shilling. And the idea here again is to make farming of fish like a business. And again, our researchers here and Kenya Fisheries Service, we have taught farmers on how to farm fish in a more business manner. And this is creating jobs, this is creating opportunities. So these are some of the opportunities we have in the blue economy. And not only at the coast, we have also some in the inland waters. And we want to thank the government for the effort and for the impact it has had. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And in the event that anybody has a question, you could just let us know so that you could come to the front here so that we can be able to get your question properly. You'll just alert us so that our team can guide you to the front. So you could just do the same. And as we get anyone with a comment or question, Captain, one thing that again, because you're the one who mentioned that implementing the blue economy and its projects is a very expensive affair. The thing is, in Kenya, a lot of these expensive things sadly tag along with them corruption. How do we avoid, again, this corruption eating into the great things that have been spoken of here? This is pretty much like a follow-up to the question of not being a blueprint nation. How do we avoid corruption, eating into the potential and the promise of the blue economy?
Thank you. Thank you. That's very simple. The best way to avoid corruption is to follow the procurement rules and guidelines. Remember, as I said before, when you come up with programs, you do the feasibility study, you do the budgeting, you get the approval, and you implement the projects. If you follow all those procedures correctly, which culminate into going into the correct procurement process, you'll never go into corruption activities. So the best thing is just follow the correct procedures so that then you implement your projects timely. And having said that, let me also just enrich on what Professor indicated about Wananchi Marine and Port of Shimoni. All these activities that support the blue economy will actually run on the oil industry. The sea, as now we implement the blue economy, sustain the blue economy, will make the sea very busy. All that will run on the oil industry. Now, Kenya Ports Authority, having looked at that, embarked on a major project that developed a new oil terminal that is going to enhance the capacity of oil storage or petroleum product storage not only within the country, but within the region. That's very key because as you plan to sustain the economy, you must be ready. You must be ready to have all the resources available. The new Kipevu Oil Terminal 2 is an island facility which is designed for 4 berths. But as it is right now, has got 3 berths ready to be utilized by the petroleum oil tanker vessels. Now, at any given time, we shall be able to handle 3 vessels which will be able to concurrently discharge petroleum products. That way, we'll now have enough stock as far as petroleum products are concerned, and of course, it will now stabilize the pump prices in the country and even in the region. So I'm saying this because at Kenya Ports Authority, we have adopted one key strategy that we keep ahead of the demand before the demand comes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I can see we have a question from one of the members of our audience. I just request you to step into, oh, he's okay there? Okay, so maybe you could just introduce yourself, tell us which institution you're from, and then you could shoot your question.
Asante sana. My name is Dr. Cosmas Munga. I'm from Technical University of Mombasa, an institution that is neighboring Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute here. TUM is a University of Excellence in Science and Technology. And my question will be more on training, capacity building. In this era of decade of ocean science, TUM has appropriate programs, very relevant for blue economy. For example, we are offering degree programs in marine resource management, fisheries and oceanography, maritime, and other related courses. Now, the question I want to pose to you 3 gentlemen is Professor Njiru has explained very well that there's a lot of training that has been taking place in relation to the blue economy sector. But the situation in the university seems to be different, especially for the degree programs. We are having a lot of challenges recruiting students. For the past 4 years or 5, we've been seeing a decreasing trend in terms of intake, students pursuing marine and fisheries related programs. So the question is, what is the problem? From your talk, it seems very brilliant, very, very good sector. The question is, how will it be if we don't have the capacity? We are concentrating on training the low caliber jobs. How about scientists? So what I want to hear from you 3 gentlemen is, can we explain to the viewers and to the public that the kind of opportunities you have, apart from fish farming, communities benefiting from restoration projects, mangroves, what other opportunities are there for people, for students to be attracted so that they can come to the university and train to be experts? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Cosmas. And Prof, I'll just let you take that. I think some of them you had addressed earlier on in terms of the other opportunities, but he points out a disconnect between what we are saying and what they are seeing in the institutions. We're not having as many people, you know, enrolling for these courses. What is the problem?
Yes, my other leg is also in the university. I'm a faculty member. Yes, indeed, there's a disconnect in terms of people who are going for degrees in these areas, in fisheries and other areas. But I think as we said in terms of politicians and politicians tagging along with us, I think is awareness creation, is education, because what's going to happen, blue economy is going to boom in Kenya, and it's going to boom, and I can tell you for a fact. Take that to the bank. But you are going to miss those critical people. Remember, there was a time when in this country, science was the only in thing. We forgot about arts. And then we had a problem with sciences. And that's exactly what's going to happen as we move on in terms of exploitation of blue economy. I think it's upon us, all the stakeholders who are involved, including ourselves, including everybody else, to try and convince our young children, our young daughters, our young whatever, taking a science in a degree in fisheries, taking a science in maritime is good, because jobs are there at the end of the day. Our young children want to see a job tomorrow. But probably as we move on and they see this is opening up, I'm very sure that we are going to be seeing more and more of our young people taking up these degrees. So creation of awareness, talking to our young Kenyans, I think that's the only way to go. I submit.
All right, thank you very much. And I think that's a good response. I don't know if there's any other question from the audience, but I also want to just pose the same to Bona Kiange, just in regards to the same, from what you see across the region, you know, because you also interact with the different organizations, governments, etc. across the region. Is this a shared concern that, or do we have some countries, you know, that are having more uptake of, you know, young people studying blue economy related courses?
Thank you. I think the problem of younger people not understanding the importance of the potential of blue economy cuts across. It is not only a Kenyan problem, but actually, as professors say, this is something that we need to do deliberately as a region to talk to our people so that they can be able to see the potential that is there in the blue economy. We cannot blame them because even majority of us are now just trying to catch up with the concept. Many people also might not be aware, even grown-ups, of the potentials that is there in the blue economy. So for those of us who are lucky to have that knowledge, we have a lot of work to do just to sensitize people and to create environments that will be able to attract them in the industry. For instance, I know one of the problems we have been having in shipping and logistics is what we call the man hours. You go to Bandari Academy, for instance, you do your course, but before you can be recognized to be able to operate internationally, then you need to have done certain hours as a kind of practicals. That has been a challenge because as a region, we do not have seagoing vessels where we can offer internships for our people to practice. So this is an issue which I am sure the government, we have advised the governments have taken these issues, and actually I know one of the reasons behind the 5-4 of the Kenya National Shipping Line is to create that capacity so that once you are trained at Bandari College, then Kenya National Shipping Line, through maybe collaborations and networks with other shipping lines, can be able to offer internships for these people. So once people are able to see, we trained with this so-and-so, is now flying between Mombasa and Dar es Salaam or Dubai, then others will be attracted. But as long as that is lacking, then we are not likely to see people coming to the industry. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And we have another question from one of our audience members. Maybe so just introduce yourself and briefly just ask your question. Thank you.
My name is Dr. David Mirera from Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute. I think from the panelists we have gotten information that the open sea or the blue economy space is actually interacting between several things. We have seen fishing, transport, we have seen aquaculture, we have seen tourism, we have seen conservation, and several other aspects that are using the blue economy space. Maybe I could request the panelists to shed more light on what the government is doing to plan this sea, the utilization of the ocean space, so that we don't have conflicts as we try to invest and utilize this open space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Prof, you could take it up.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mirera. Yes, indeed, the ocean could be a time bomb. If we don't plan, of course, you see, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. But the government has already seized this issue, And as an institution, it has mandated us with other institutions to do what we call marine spatial planning. Marine spatial planning is whereby we have all the blue spaces in the water are earmarked for certain activities, so that if it's shipping, we know where shipping should be done. If it is mariculture, we know where mariculture will be done. If it is fishing, we know where fishing is done. If it's conservation, we know conservation is done. So the whole ocean is mapped. But by the way, I want to mention that our territorial waters span to about 245,000 square kilometers, which is about 42% of the land mass of Kenya. The land mass of Kenya is about 580,000 square kilometers. So actually, half of our land is in the ocean. So, and that's why the government has seized this occasion to try and plan, because as we are all speaking here, the next economy, the next frontier is probably going to be the ocean. And we need to plan as we move on. And marine spatial planning will be one of the key areas as government to allow to reduce conflict of resources. And I think the government is aware about this.
All right, thank you very much. So I'd just like to, as we draw to an end, because we're running out of time, just ask our panelists to just give a closing remark very briefly on this whole conversation about harnessing the blue economy and the great potential that's there. And I'll begin with you, Captain, as we come this way, as you just do a brief closing remark.
Thank you very much. We have all agreed that the next big economy is going to be the ocean economy, which is the blue economy. We have had many programs coming up, maritime programs coming up. The most important thing now is for us to move from a maritime program nation to a maritime nation, a leading maritime nation. And I'm sure under the leadership of the PS Shipping and Maritime, Madam PS Kargidhu, we should be able to be a leading maritime nation in this region, and not only in this region, all the way up to the southern part of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I just want to appeal to Kenyans that we are now more enlightened in terms of blue economy. Let us take the advantage of exploiting this big resource, and not just as a Kenyan, but as a region. We need to look ourselves as part of the bigger region. Let's prepare our capacity not to serve only Kenya, but the region. Because as the panelists have said here, there's a big potential in the region and the country. The younger people come to the industry, build capacity, and take advantage of this ship before it leaves to other places. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As my colleagues have said, I think the next frontier in terms of economy of this country is blue economy. Again, we as Kenya Marine, our doors are open in terms of information, in terms of investment. I said we can convert the economy of fisheries from the current 5 million to 100 billion Kenya shillings for our budget processes. I would want to take this opportunity first and foremost to thank our presidency in terms of what we have done, in terms of stock assessment for giving us money, in terms of training and allowing us to do other projects from his big office. Our minister has also been very supportive. Our peers has been very supportive. Our researchers have been very supportive. Stakeholders have been very supportive. And I think this is what we want to see as we move on as a country. If we move together, I think there's no limitation. We can convert the economy of this country to bypass that one of, allow me to say, countries like Seychelles, which is almost the size of Mombasa, but the economy is probably 10 times, 5 times that of Kenya. Why can't we be better than Mauritius and Seychelles? We have got bigger water, and I think I want to pass it to the politicians. Please give us more money so that we can be able to give you research, findings, and we'll be able to to generate more money from where we are as Kenya Marine. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Professor. Yes, thank you very much also to our audience. And once again, just to thank my panelists for their great insights, beginning with Professor James Njiru, who's the Director General of the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, which is where we are coming to you live from. Next to him is Daniel Kiange, who is the Secretary General of the Intergovernmental Standing Committee on Shipping, or ISCOS. Thank you for joining us as well. And we have, last but definitely not least, Captain Geoffrey Namadoa, who's the Harbour Master as well as the General Manager of Marine Operations at the Kenya Ports Authority. And we thank you all as well, our audience, for being part of this and just for your contribution, for just listening and just being part of this. Thank you all thank you for hosting us, Prof. And it definitely is a great night. It's a great place to stop it, where we've got a lot more insight in regards to the blue economy and how we can harness it. Those of you who feel there's an opportunity for you, you should register in the school so that we won't have customers coming to say that they hardly have any people who are registering for these courses at their university and the different, the other different tertiary institutions which offer the same. And MPs, you've had the DG. He wants more money so that they can give you better research and more information and insight that can help us harness the potential in this great economy. My name is Dan Mwangi. Thank you for being with us through this live forum that we've been having here in the county of Mombasa. We'll be having a lot more to look into. The conversation goes on online. Our hashtag has been Blue Economy KE. Continue giving your insights and we shall be looking at them. Thanks for joining us. My name is Dan Mwangi. Have yourselves a good night.